you. Thank you. Thank you. Look, I know these are the film awards, but I just want to tell you two things. Not 2 weeks ago, I was standing at the side of the stage in the Garrick Theatre, next to Ken Branagh, waiting to go on for Act 5 of The Winter's Tale, and I suddenly realised that I'd forgotten to put on my skirt. Ken Branagh laughed till he cried and was absolutely no help to me whatsoever. In fact, as we stood there, I saw the psych at the back as my dresser raced past in order to try and get the garment that I needed. I'd also like to tell you that we were both sent out of the studio when we made the television version of Ghosts. Not a comedy, but there was something irresistibly funny about it. And we were both asked to leave. And then, several years ago, I played his mother in Coriolanus. We were at Chichester, and I came on, and about 2 lines in of my first scene, I fell down and twisted my ankle. I stopped and said, "I'm so sorry, I seem to have done something. Is there a doctor here?" And there was a doctor here, and he came round and he said, "You've sprained your ankle, we'll strap it up." And I said, "That will be fine." And he said, "And we give you a stick and you can go on." I said, "That's fine too." So I went on and I did the whole performance. And at the end, because if you're stoic in the theatre, you know, it goes down very, very well if you have something ghastly wrong with you and you get on with it. And I came down to tumultuous applause. The best applause I've ever had. And quite loudly in my ear, Ken Branagh said, "Get off the stage, you limping bitch." I have to tell you, there's actually nobody like him. Nobody I've met. He knows every single person who's working on that production. He doesn't just know actors, he knows the people who really make it happen, the crew, the electrics, the wigs, the dressers, every single person by name. And for the last 3 months, or whatever we've been doing Winter's Tale, not only does he see how you are each day, but he actually goes around to every single dressing room before every performance and makes a bit of a joke and checks up on how you are. And he's not only like that in the theatre, he's like it on a film as well. Somebody has to come in and fix something, he knows the name of that person. It's staggering. And so, for his contribution to film, it's wonderful that the London Circle of Film Critics have decided to give him the Dilys Powell Award. It's very, very, very well deserved.
How you're able to do that. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. James, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, of course, to Judi for now the cruel exposure of my particularly unhelpful comment in the wake of a recent injury in Coriolanus. There must be some special punishment you receive when you insult a dame of the realm like that. But thank you, Judi, for being quite so wonderful. Thank you, and congratulations everybody who received an award tonight, and congratulations to all of you for taking the time and the effort to put it together. Thank you. Since this great and generous honour came along, I've thought a lot about critics and circles, and so here's how they've sometimes appeared in my life. At a luncheon, they used to do this, don't know if we do it now anymore, but after the press screening of Henry V in 1989, which was my first film as a director, I sat next to Dilys Powell, whose name graces this award. And she was a very glamorous figure to me. Anyway, she reminded me of one of those great sort of Hollywood costume designers like Edith Head, very sort of glamorous and elegant. And we talked about everything except, you might understand, her review for my directing debut, with the single exception, there is a circular story to this, of pointing out that Judi Dench, that Judi was, in addition to, in my view, being our most magnificent stage actress, on the evidence of this film, Henry V, and indeed many other movies, Miss Powell said that if Judi actually enjoyed, she wasn't sure if she did, enjoyed the process of working in front of a camera, that she predicted that she could also be our greatest screen actress. Now, Judi, I'm not saying that you playing Mistress Quickly in our film actually led to James Bond, but Dilys Powell was rather prescient, and all I can say is that both characters' names start with M. Just saying, that's all. So I think that particular circle is squared tonight. But actually looking further back into the sort of circle of that film's history, I also remember one critic who happened to help it on his way, and this is the weird wheels within wheels. It was 1983, and I was performing on a very, very tiny stage in the Waterloo Road to a very sparse and, frankly, indifferent public. A solo show of, get this, Alfred Lord Tennyson's 1400-line monodrama, Maud, or The Madness. It was an hour and 20 minutes of classical verse about losing your mind. As you can see, my commercial instincts were strong even then. And the nadir of my experience of that production was on the evening, you're all far too young to remember, but the old GLC was abolished. And there was a massive and very noisy firework display to commemorate it, which happened directly outside our theatre. So I could not therefore be heard by the audience that night, which perhaps was fortunate because there were only 12 of them. 6 of them were my family, and 25% of them were asleep. Their snores being the only thing that, of course, topped the sound of the fireworks. So imagine, therefore, my surprise and delight when the following Wednesday, just as we were about to cancel the run of the whole show because it was a disaster, the Evening Standard newspaper sent along their, at that time, junior reviewer, one Charles Spencer, who gave us a great review, which promptly had the remainder of the run sold out. And as a result of that notice, directly as a result of that review, the casting director of the Royal Shakespeare Company came to the show the next evening, and I was then, the next day, promptly called into audition for the role of Henry V, which experience began a journey that took me all the way, years later, to lunch with Dilys Powell. So, Mr. Spencer, you have a lot to answer for. But aside from what we discussed that day that I recall, which was about classic films from the past, Dilys Powell's enthusiasm and excitement about watching films of the present was also very clear. She seemed to me, loved what she was doing. And it seemed to me a very great quality and a wonderful quality in a critic. Equally clear was her sense of fairness. And at our lunch and in her review, she did me the very great honor of taking me seriously. If I'd made a film, regardless of my youth or apparent precocity, or at that time annoying, albeit temporary, sort of media ubiquity, she approached it, it seemed to me anyway, in exactly the same way that she would with a film, as I thought at that time, from one of the grown-ups. And of course, this meant that she was unsparing about what she felt she didn't like or that didn't work. But she seemed to take it on its own terms. She didn't patronize. She praised and passionately what she liked. And essentially, it seemed to me, she welcomed me into the world of filmmaking by innately respecting at least the effort or the attempt to produce good work, however the final results might have turned out. And therefore, in turn, it was very easy to respect and appreciate a difference of opinion, passionately expressed, and in her case, often very beautifully written. So it felt like we'd entered into a sort of gentleman's, or in this case, gentlewoman's agreement to meet always on friendly terms and to understand that in any differences of taste or judgment, there was nothing personal. That notion has stood me in very good stead over a career in which, in fact, I've grown up together with a whole generation of critics. And unsurprisingly, not all that I have produced has been welcomed, I think it would be safe to say. But my gosh, I have been grateful, so grateful for the attention and the consideration and the respect that has allowed it to continue, and I hope to develop and grow. And so this very, very generous recognition is deeply appreciated. And, you know, in a world where everyone has the possibility to be a critic, I value, more than I ever thought I would or could, the consideration of professional critics for a practiced and relatively considered, given the pace of things, and often thoughtful approach to our work, even when they are occasionally telling me it's rubbish. Tonight, thank you very much, as it's been said earlier, to the Mayfair Hotel and all the sponsors that have made all of this possible. It's been a lovely evening. Thank you for letting me be part of it. And thank you across the years to Miss Powell. Thanks to my hero, the quite wonderful Judi Dench. And thanks to all of you in the Critics Circle for your kindness and for, indeed, your criticism over the years. It has meant a lot. Thank you very much, and good night. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, darling.